The truth about Nespresso and Keurig coffee pods. Are they actually eco-friendly? Welcome to this comprehensive guide on the environmental impact of single-serve coffee systems. Whether you're a daily coffee drinker concerned about your ecological footprint, an environmentally conscious consumer weighing convenience against sustainability, or someone considering which system to purchase, understanding the true environmental impact of coffee pods can help you make more informed decisions. Coffee pods might seem like a straightforward convenience item, but their environmental implications are complex and often misunderstood. The difference between various pod systems isn't just about coffee quality or price, it's about specific design elements that significantly impact their environmental footprint. Today, we're cutting through the marketing claims to reveal the single most crucial factor that separates more eco-friendly coffee pod systems from problematic options. This key factor makes more difference than brand aesthetics, coffee variety, or even recyclability claims in many cases. Before diving into that critical factor, let's establish what makes pod-based coffee systems so popular yet controversial. Single-serve coffee machines from brands like Nespresso and Keurig revolutionized home brewing by offering convenience, consistency, and variety without measuring or grinding. However, this convenience comes with an environmental cost that manufacturers are increasingly pressured to address. Standard coffee pods typically contain plastic, aluminum, paper filters, and organic coffee waste. Billions of these pods are produced annually, with a significant percentage ending up in landfills where they can take hundreds of years to decompose. Both Nespresso and Keurig have introduced sustainability initiatives, but their approaches differ substantially. Now, the one factor that truly separates more eco-friendly pod systems from problematic options: material composition and end-of-life design. Material composition is the defining characteristic that determines environmental impact, but it's not as simple as recyclable is better. The optimal approach depends entirely on the specific materials used and the realistic end-of-life processing pathways available. This nuanced understanding of pod materials is what manufacturers often oversimplify and what makes the biggest difference in environmental impact. For aluminum-based pods like Nespresso's, the material itself is infinitely recyclable when properly processed. These pods utilize thin aluminum that, when separated from coffee grounds and properly recycled, can be reused indefinitely with minimal quality degradation. However, this potential is only realized when consumers have easy access to specialized recycling channels. For plastic-based pods like standard Keurig K-Cups, the material challenges are more significant. Conventional K-Cups combine plastic number 7, a mixed plastic, with aluminum and paper, creating a complex composite that's difficult to separate and process through standard recycling streams. This complexity historically made them problematic for mainstream recycling programs. For compostable alternatives gaining market share, biodegradable materials derived from plant sources offer theoretical advantages, but require industrial composting facilities for proper breakdown. These eco-pods typically feature PLA, polylactic acid, or other bioplastics that won't properly decompose in home composting systems or landfills without specific conditions. This crucial relationship between material composition and real-world disposal options explains why environmental assessments of coffee pods often reach different conclusions. No single material approach excels across all regional waste management infrastructures. The most disappointing reality about coffee pods is that their environmental impact depends not just on manufacturer choices, but on consumer behavior and local recycling infrastructure. Even perfectly recyclable pods become problematic when convenience leads to improper disposal in regular trash. Now that we understand this critical factor, let's examine how the major pod systems compare in terms of environmental impact. Nespresso's aluminum pods benefit from the company's established recycling program. Consumers can return used pods to Nespresso boutiques, drop them at collection points, or mail them back using prepaid recycling bags. Once collected, the aluminum is separated from coffee grounds, which are composted and recycled into new products. This closed-loop system works well when utilized, but depends entirely on consumer participation. Research from various environmental analyses suggests that only about 30% of Nespresso pods globally actually get recycled despite the program's availability. Keurig historically faced stronger criticism for its original K-Cup design, which was not recyclable in most municipal systems. In response, the company pledged to make all K-Cups recyclable by the end of 2020. Transitioning to polypropylene, plastic number 5, which is accepted in many recycling programs. However, consumers must still separate components, removing the aluminum lid and paper filter before recycling, a step many users skip. Environmental assessments indicate that despite the switch to more recyclable materials, actual recycling rates remain low due to these extra steps and regional variations in recycling capabilities. Third-party compatible pods introduce additional variables. Some companies offer compostable options made from plant-based materials that theoretically break down in industrial composting facilities. However, access to such facilities varies dramatically by location, and these pods may still end up in landfills where they decompose much more slowly than advertised. Research shows that without proper industrial composting conditions, these eco-friendly alternatives may perform no better than conventional plastic in landfill environments. Reusable pods represent the most environmentally friendly option across all systems. These durable filters can be filled with any ground coffee and used hundreds or thousands of times before replacement. Both Nespresso and Keurig machines have compatible reusable options available, though they require slightly more effort than pre-filled pods. Environmental impact assessments consistently rank reusable pods as superior from a sustainability perspective, with their initial manufacturing impact offset after just 20 to 30 uses compared to single-use alternatives. Based on comprehensive environmental research and life cycle analyses, here are the key findings about pod system environmental impacts. The environmental impact hierarchy generally ranks as follows, from best to worst. Reusable pods, lowest impact. Aluminum pods that are actually recycled through dedicated programs. Compostable pods that actually reach industrial composting facilities. Recyclable plastic pods that are properly disassembled and recycled. Any pods that end up in landfill, highest impact. When evaluating the real environmental cost of convenience, we must consider the complete life cycle. Manufacturing impact matters significantly. Nespresso's aluminum pods require intensive energy for production, but offer infinite recyclability. Research indicates that aluminum mining and refinement represents the largest environmental cost in their life cycle. Keurig's plastic pods have a lower manufacturing footprint, but greater end-of-life challenges. Life cycle assessments suggest that production accounts for roughly 30% of a coffee pod's carbon footprint. Coffee sourcing itself represents a substantial environmental factor often overlooked in pod discussions. Both Nespresso and Keurig have sustainability programs focusing on ethical sourcing and agricultural practices. Nespresso's OA Sustainable Quality Program works with over 100,000 farmers in 15 countries, while Keurig's Keurig Green Mountain sustainability initiatives focus on similar goals. Environmental research indicates that coffee cultivation represents approximately 40% of the total carbon footprint of a cup of coffee, regardless of brewing method. Energy consumption during brewing offers a potential advantage for pod systems. Their precise water heating often uses less energy than traditional coffee makers or kettles that heat more water than necessary. Studies suggest that pod machines use 25 to 45% less electricity per cup than drip machines or manual pour-over methods that involve boiling excess water. Waste coffee grounds represent another environmental consideration. When Nespresso pods are recycled through official channels, the grounds are typically composted. Keurig users who separate pod components can compost grounds separately. However, in both systems, grounds that remain in disposed pods contribute to methane production in landfills. Research indicates that uncomposted coffee grounds in landfills can produce significant methane, a potent greenhouse gas. The most important advice we can offer: choose systems that align with your actual recycling behavior and local infrastructure. This realistic assessment of your habits will reduce environmental impact more than any manufacturer claim about theoretical recyclability. For consumers committed to pod systems but concerned about environmental impact, we recommend use reusable pods whenever possible. For Nespresso users, consistently return pods through their recycling program. For Keurig users, fully disassemble pods before recycling and compost grounds separately. Consider pod-free alternatives like pour-over or French press for lower-impact brewing. We hope this guide helps you make more informed decisions about coffee pod systems that align with your environmental values and practical needs. What type of coffee system do you currently use? And what factors affect your choice between convenience and sustainability? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this guide helpful, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more honest insights about kitchen products and their environmental implications. Thanks for watching.